Get Into Geek. This is episode 162. We are talking Stargate SG-1. The Get Into Geek team is here. My name is Mitch. Joining me, Matty.
Yow.
And Brendan.
Hello.
What's going on, boys? What is it? This is number 3 or 4 of our podcast in isolation, all doing it from our relative dens.
I'll tell you what's going on.
Red letter, Foxtrot, Alpha 6. All security teams to the gate room.
That's what's going on.
Pretty much sums it up.
Do you know what that stands for? Foxtrot Alpha? All of you.
Really?
I just made that up.
Sounds
That
legit.
makes sense. It fits.
We need all of you in our 6. If you know.
All of you on my 6 because there's Cold Warriors coming through the gate.
I need like at least 8 blokes banging me from behind. That's what I was getting at.
Oh, that's when my alarm goes off.
Hey, look, it would be hard to go past if that person saying that was Christopher Judge, particularly in this episode, because my first note, before we even get into the synopsis, is Chris Judge's run. The way he runs is what I imagine floating muscle would look like if it was just like gliding through the air. Like that guy is just like a man mountain. And the way that he runs, it's like robotic. Like he should be the Terminator. Like he's just...
Yeah, I've said that before. He would have been an amazing Terminator.
Yeah, that's Teal'c. It's Teal'c all over. So
Yeah.
this is I was glad that I kind of got teased what this episode was last week, and you gave me that GoldenEye little hint last week, Matty, and I'm like, some kind of faint thing, like a video game cutscene type thing, and obviously that was just the thing. And I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get into the synopsis. I want to talk about this. I think this goes back. I feel like this is a favorite of mine when I was watching it when it first came out. You know, like late teens, 20 years old or something. Like this was basically the shit. Yeah. It was like watching Teal'c the video game. So let's see what the old synopsis says and then get into it. A virtual reality training scenario goes terribly wrong when the simulation begins to learn from Teal'c, trapping him and endangering his life. Jackson volunteers to enter the simulation on a rescue mission, but will he be able to rescue Teal'c, or will Jackson become a victim himself?
Jeez, ruin it.
Jackson can volunteer to enter anything he likes as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Oh, go.
He can enter my VR anytime.
Oh, tell you what.
Now, directed by Martin Wood, solid. We're pretty comfortable with that. Directed by Damien Kindler-Kindler, who, what did he write the other week that we were a little bit...
Icon, literally last week's SG-1 episode. Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well...
Yeah, they got the
swings
and roundabouts.
Yeah, they've got the B team on SG-1.
Pretty well.
They got the B team in SG-1 this year, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Wait till next week when we're introduced to Martin Giro on Atlantis. That's some B team for you right there. He's my Cooper. He is my Cooper.
This is the guy you were telling me about.
Cooper.
I just want to punch him in the face every time he speaks. Every time. Just pow.
Right in the
I guess this is a nice little, solo episode. It could really fall anywhere in the last sort of season and a bit, I guess. It's obviously reference to the Anubis warriors and all that sort of stuff. But they said, the doctor were talking about at the start, saying that this has been a 2-year project. So I was trying to figure out when the Anubis soldiers came into it. I want to say this 2-year project is obviously before that. So they were, as far as I guess we're led to assume, working on some kind of like VR simulation to prepare their SG members, well before.
Well, if you remember those VR pods, they're from the episode Gamekeeper.
Yeah, so there's that thing Carter says, season 2. Started season 2.
6 years ago, sir.
Yeah, Carter says 6 years ago.
That's
so
right.
I'm wondering if have they had a Gamekeeper chair for 6 years? Because Brandon, didn't you point out in that one of those episodes I hate, one of the alternate reality episodes, in like Area 51, you can see like a Gamekeeper chair in storage or something. I want to say, like, is it point of view, like Carter with the long hair that comes from the alternate reality?
Yeah, it could have been. I don't know if it was that. Yeah, it could have been.
Yeah.
It was solely the props department.
Yeah.
I'm
wondering if, like, in universe, it's taken them this long to negotiate to get a VR chair from the Gamekeeper.
Yeah, well, they had 2. All of a sudden, they have 2.
Gotten around to it. Yeah.
What's with that?
Yeah, well, this is cool, and I guess I don't know what came first, whether it was like something about Teal'c or the way that this episode naturally came together in the writing. But I like that very early on, when he completed the mission, they were like, "Oh, hang on, that Teal'c, probably in the back of his mind, we have never won until we've completely defeated the Goa'uld as a species. So that simulation might never be over. And it's like, holy shit, that basically is Teal'c. Like this is all of a sudden a really dangerous thing. Like I feel like as action heavy as this episode was, it was also one of the most in-depth looks that we've ever had into Teal'c, especially come later in the episode where it goes beyond him thinking we're not going to finish our mission until we defeat the Goa'uld to, he probably thinks deep down we are never going to be able to defeat them, regardless of what he says to us. We're never going to be able to do it. And that's what he truly believes. So I thought this, a really nice little character study on Teal'c after 8 seasons, yet was like nothing but action-packed. Yeah.
That was, I think, a mind-blowing reveal to be like, Teal'c's memory scan that the gamekeeper took 6 years ago, Teal'c thought when he joined the SGC that the Goa'uld could never be defeated. Like that was a huge thing. And in a little bit of a way, I kind of wished there'd been another little tag on the end of the episode. Like when I hear that, I'm like, why didn't they ever explore that? They don't explore that more. But then there's a little button at the very end of the episode where Jack just goes, "You won," and Teal'c goes, "Indeed, we did," and that's kind of enough for me in terms.
I think it was like Teal'c said, "We won," and Jack says, "It's what we do."
Was it that way around? Was it
like like Wormhole Extreme? It's what I do.
It's what we do.
It's what we do. We win.
We do.
We're winners.
But yeah, so it's like Teal'c's not over. I mean, sometimes he is, but he's not known to sort of get caught up in his emotions and his feelings about stuff. So I like the fact that little button on the scene, I think, was enough subconscious acknowledgement, because Teal'c doesn't know yet at that point that them and Daniel know that that's what he thought 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And even Daniel says, well, surely he doesn't think that now. Like, we've kicked so much ass.
Yeah.
There's no way he'd think that now.
Yeah, and Carter's like, I hope you're right. Carter's like, I hope you're right, because if that's not the case, then he will never come out.
Then he's fucked.
I think the poignant bit for me, too, is the fact that he realized he couldn't win, and he just sat there. It was like Groundhog Day, just committed suicide so many times. Death by 1,000 cuts, as Daniel Jackson says. But then I think it was really cool when Daniel came in and Teal'c shot him so many times because he didn't believe it was real. And that's like my favorite. Even though he's like, all right, just give me a chance. Boom, shoots him again.
I'll prove to you that I'm not a Goa'uld. Bang.
All that was missing was Daniel saying, I'm not a Goa'uld. He goes, I know.
Yeah. I know. It's hot, Daniel.
All was missing was Daniel to rock up with a Luigi hat on and just be like, I'm here, I promise. Yeah. Did you notice old mate, the Dr. Cartwright, who was like the doctor that they brought in later on that jammed the adrenaline needle into Teal'c's chest? He basically looked like Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber. If you gave him a bowl cut, he could have been Jeff Daniels in Dumb and Dumber. That's actually the dude from Learning Curve back in like season 3. Remember the kids that had the nanites and then they take them out and they get dumb?
He made the generator.
He was the dude.
Of course he was.
He was Toman's dad.
He had the little white head wrap.
Kalen, little shithead. He was a dead shit. He was alright in this. I didn't mind him.
Yeah, he was alright. Wasn't too bad.
I think is that's kind of the first and last for this guy, is it? Or is he in a couple
I think it might be. I didn't look into it, but I think so.
I don't remember him anymore.
No. Better than that dickhead guy that they had in the first couple of seasons before they got Janet.
Yeah. I liked that scene with the Pulp Fiction moment essentially, and then the doctor's like,
"His heart stopped."
He's got a pulse.
That's not going to work again. I don't want to see that again.
Like, of all the shit he's seen on this planet and every other one out there, like that someone getting an adrenaline shot into the heart or whatever. He was just like,
he just wasn't expecting it.
Next level,
It was surgical.
The other one I loved was Jack when he has like, can you make it harder? More difficult?
More difficult.
It was like, well done, buddy.
Okay.
Enjoy that. Well done.
How was it? Was it fun?
Indeed. You died well in battle, O'Neill.
Obviously, there's something defective with this thing.
Agreed. An Anubis drone is a far more formidable warrior than this simulation would suggest.
What?
No, we've been working on this chair for 2 years to make it a viable virtual reality training tool for SGC personnel.
You have failed.
He's nothing if not honest.
Well, I mean, maybe we could. It could use a little more work, but
Can you make it harder, more difficult?
Is it just me, or were Teal'cs, are they traps? Those big muscles on the neck? They were like
they were wings, bro.
They were like their own character on this friggin' episode.
Yeah, I think on Christopher Judge, they're his traps. If we wanted to look like that, we would have to wear a wingsuit. Like, this is why he wears singlets. It's just like, if you look like that, why would you even wear a shirt of any description?
Beast. And then what happens? The Rock comes along and steals his thunder.
Yeah.
It's just not fair.
Oh, dude. Talking about stealing thunder, some arsehole wants to put Jason Momoa in the movie of God of War. I'm like, bro, that is some bullshit. That's a Chris Judge role made in heaven. Stay away. Fucking Momoa. He comes in stealing bloody Chris Judge's hard work.
The side-by-side pictures, I was like, oh, like Momoa with the right makeup would actually kind of look quite like Kratos. But it's like it's Chris Judge's role. Like, you know.
He made that in that last game.
Geez, considering Tom Holland was wearing pajamas with dots on them for both Endgame and Infinity War, I'm pretty sure they could make Chris Judge look like Kratos easily enough.
Oh, yeah. Well, did you see that picture I posted on Facebook, I think?
Yeah.
He was just so jacked.
Yeah.
He was so ripped. Yeah, man. Amazing.
Yeah, like you can understand, like from a marketing point of view on that, you'd understand why they would want to put Momoa into the role, because it's like it's instantly selling it and giving it profile. But at the same time, when we're still in a world where only like a handful of video game movies have like come close to succeeding or got their money back, you would think putting someone like Chris Judge in it doesn't carry the same expectations as putting Momoa in. So it would actually be better for them in a way. Like maybe they don't get the budget or something like that.
They wouldn't have to pay Chris Judge as much, let's be honest.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to pay him as much, and there isn't as much expectation because of who's leading the film. So
Momoa's gonna have that box office draw. He's gonna put asses in seats.
Yeah, well, not my ass, mate.
It just
I'll be back playing the game.
It just reignites the age-old, Stargate fan debate in who would win in a fight, Ronan or Teal'c. You know?
No, I couldn't possibly comment at this point.
No.
Well, yeah, we'll find out.
May not find out.
Yeah, I do enjoy this episode. I remember enjoying it too. It's one of the good standalones in this season, especially after a shitty one like Icon. I like the idea. Yeah, I like the idea that Teal'c's ego and like never give up attitude caused the game the problem. If it was anyone else that went in there, it probably wouldn't have been an issue. But the fact that he's so headstrong.
That's it. And I thought it was a very clever line they put in where Daniel's like, oh, ironically, it's Teal'c's ego that done it. Not that his self-image isn't completely earned. Like,
exactly.
He's like,
something like
earned that ego. So I'm like, I think that was a really important line to put in there.
Yeah. Not that it's out of touch or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to make everyone think that, everyone thinks, Teal'c's so full of himself. It's like, no, he's earned that. He's,
Yeah, he's Teal'c.
He's Teal'c. He's good with that.
That's what I mean. Like, if Teal'c didn't exist, there's no way that Ronan would have been even necessarily in Atlantis. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like they in Atlantis, they're like, oh, we need a Teal'c character.
Yeah, Taylor wasn't cutting it as a Teal'c character. So they were like, all right, we need
another one.
We need a Teal'c.
We need a real Teal'c.
Yeah.
It's a funny old story. Like, it doesn't push the narrative forward on the entire season, the story that we've been exploring or, taking on Baal or anything like that. Or next week won't be any different based on what happened in this episode or anything. But I still found myself thinking, shit, like we're in the middle of the show's 8th season. Like, that's a long time, especially when they're like, 22, 23 episode seasons or whatever. Like it's a lot of story they've already told. And if we were watching it once a week, for only 20 weeks a year, like that's a lot, like we did when we were watching it live. That's a long time to be watching one show. And yet you get an episode like this, which even though it doesn't push the narrative forward, I'm like, they're still finding interesting ways to delve into somebody's character and make you think about them a little bit differently, or even like this, it's his ego and it's not undeserved sort of thing, but go, oh, hang on, why is it not undeserved? What is interesting about that you just sort of accept when you look at him? So yeah, I sort of find myself looking at the same actors playing the same characters in this role, 100 and whatever episodes in, going, oh, I can still see why it's a paycheck and it's a steady job, but like you're still getting cool shit to do, especially when it's a throwaway episode as far as even like to sit there and tell someone what it's about. It's as far as the synopsis goes, like it shouldn't be one that I don't think is as fun to revisit as what this would be, and yet it is, especially with someone who doesn't emote as much as what Teal'c does. It almost shouldn't work at all, this episode, but I think it's very cool.
Yeah,
maybe that's helped because it is following Icon, that you needed something like this. But yeah,
well, and it's very indicative of season 8. Like season 8 is like, to me, like, and I've said it, last year, season 7 is like one of my favorite seasons of SG-1, and because everything is so strong. Whereas season 8 is very peaks and valleys. Like, last week's Icon, this is such a strong episode, and there's not a lot of episodes in here because there's so many two-parters, and so many of them are just like this, these standalones that don't really add to the lore of the Stargate universe. It's more little character ones like this, and then our next SG-1 episode, Affinity, another Teal'c episode.
Yeah, two Teal'c ones back to back. How awesome is that?
and then Icon.
Finally.
And then Icon last week, and it's like these 3 episodes don't really add much to the overall lore.
Yeah, and they're cheap. They're all cheap.
Yeah, they're character-based episodes, but then it's funny, like season 8 ends with probably the most lore-heavy, you have to have watched everything to watch like the last 5 or 6 episodes. So it's such a weird sort of contrast this season of all these different kind of elements. So it is nice to get these nice little standalones that are successful, unlike last week.
And not that I know too much or remember too much about what next week's episode is, but especially this episode and last episode, if you're looking at the limitations they have on how much they can use Richard Dean Anderson, you're getting at least the last 2 weeks and maybe next week, as far as I know, all done. His scenes all done in the space of a week's filming. You got him for 3 episodes. So, they're still exploring how to tell these interesting stories and further on character development in a show this far on, when they don't have access to be able to use the key character of the show. So
and I think
I didn't feel like we were missing O'Neill in this episode, yet he was on screen for like, 5 minutes?
You notice how they kept killing him in every scene. Like it was like he did 2 stunts and then probably 1 day of shooting to get his scenes out of the way.
I think that's the most clever way to do it is, they killed him up early on each time, and then later on they hung a lantern like, they're like, oh, sir, we can't put you in the machine. Like, we don't want it learning from your tactical experience. And I'm like, well done.
Which I thought that was a nice touch as well. It made more sense to put Daniel in. It's like, and that was off camera as well. It's like they've had that discussion off camera and just a bit of dialogue added that in, which was a nice touch, because you don't see the decision. You just see Alpha Foxtrot Alpha 6, and then it pans across. You're expecting to see Teal'c, but then Daniel's there, and you're like, what? Oh, okay, he's in. They've chosen him all of a sudden. And then the scene where Daniel's shoots him with the Zat, and then you finally get to see Teal'c's just like, it's impossible, Daniel Jackson. It's the first time you see Teal'c, apart from his early Tritonin days. It's the first time you really see Teal'c really just out of his element and just completely. And he's like, let's do this together. That kind of made me hard, Mitch. I'm not going to lie.
We can do it.
That was about 10 hards right there.
It actually did. It was a nice switch on it being that Daniel, I guess, doing the O'Neill line in that sense. Like, we can do it. Trust me. I know we can do it. And pepping up someone like Teal'c. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, let's do it together. Oh, the pussy's helping the strong guy. This is awesome. Nerds go hard. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I do remember this episode, Avatar. I remember it sticking out. This one and Affinity especially. There's a couple more in this season which I really enjoy, but this one stands out because it is one of these Teal'c episodes. It's a bit repetitive on a rewatch. Effectively, it's just Teal'c shooting super soldiers over and over again, mostly ineffectively. I would have liked it to take a bit of a turn, especially when the prototype becomes less effective, the prototype gun. Teal'c, I just prefer like if Teal'c started doing old school Jafar tactics or something like that.
Yeah.
Even if he had to do...
Maybe if they didn't rely on the game reset being the thing that was going to like cumulatively really hurt him. Imagine if it was like really early on, they realized, okay, Teal'c, you can't die in the game because you will die in real life.
Yeah,
after
like the
one
type thing.
So yeah, so imagine if Teal'c like had to be like, oh no, I've only got one life left.
Yeah.
And yeah, did what you said, got into that real guerrilla-y kind of stuff.
And like resorted to melee weapons and just gets bloody like Die Hard.
Yeah.
That would have been sick. Ends up just spearing a dude through his guts or whatever. Something like that.
But I guess we do get a little bit of that later in the season with sacrifices when he does go a little bit kind of Predator Commando kind of thing on his own. So actually, I'm starting to realise now there was a lot of Teal'c-centric episodes this season.
Yeah. It seemed like they went far enough with every other character.
Yeah.
Hey, so Carter's pretty smart, right?
Is she? Is that canon? Have they set that up yet? Or?
I'm pretty sure. She's like the smartest person in the universe. She's even smarter than McKay. Well, I had a thought. When Carter and Teal'c are trying to dial P4M523 to get rid of the Naquita generator before it overloaded, we were waiting for what seemed like an eternity for that gate to dial and open.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking at that point while we were waiting for it, there has to be an address that is really quick to dial. Like, for example, you know those old-timey hand-wind crank phones?
Yeah.
They had the digits 1 through 9 and then followed by like a 0. And if your friend had like a phone number with only the first 5 digits, it was really quick to dial. But if they had like a couple of 9s or 0s in their number, it would like take forever to dial.
So you're saying like if we put the point of origin at Chevron 7 and then just dialed whatever symbols just happen to be at those chevrons at that moment without the
so it only kind of
spin.
Yeah, because with the old cranky phones, it would take ages because if you had a guy with a 9, you'd have to wind it and then wait for it to crank all the way back across. And it would take ages, and you generally hate that friend for that reason. But that's what I was wondering, is Carter saying dial M4, PM45, whatever, which is the equivalent to like a 555-11111 number. So it's easy to dial. Because then you would only go kind of Chevron 1 that way, Chevron 2 this way, like bang, 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 bang. There has to be.
I never thought about that because
one has to go clockwise, and then it has to go back anti-clockwise, and then it has to go clockwise again. That's why.
Oh, does it? It can't. Oh, the phone does, but does the gate have to go back and forth, or could it just?
Well, that's what it looks like. It goes clockwise, locks, and then goes back the other way, locks. That's why they always show it anyway.
Like just the
way.
Quickest way to the next symbol.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you raised a good point because there was that back in, was it when they were getting attacked by Anubis in like season 6 or whatever, where they were
they were trying to dial out.
Yeah, well, they're trying to do, and Carter came up with a program where we dialed a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Than what normal, but yeah, you make a good point. Just actually thinking about those few seconds that would save the wheel spinning.
It would be good.
Yeah.
And like if that was the case, where there was a planet where like SG-1 just dumped all their emergencies, I hope they really kind of sussed it out before they decided that was their.
Do you know? I reckon
that's their poop planet. You know.
I reckon Walter's
really holding on to a massive log. Yeah, Walter. Yeah.
I reckon Walter's thought of that. It's just sitting on Jack's desk under all his other paperwork yet to be approved. Because that's a Walter idea right there.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Saving time, just saving time in the game.
I know that was in the game. Within the game, but that made me think. I like that idea.
I was just very interested in what that planet actually was. Like, I want to find out.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, it was just a nothing planet, but I'm like, is there like someone that you like? If it was Baal's planet, and you're just like, all right, this guy, like, let's send this shit back. You know?
Yeah.
Were they planning to throw it through the vortex, so it didn't matter?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, I don't reckon you could a Naquita generator. I reckon a Naquita generator would probably explode in the vortex. You reckon?
Oh yeah, maybe if it went into a black hole, spaghetti fired and exploded.
Yeah.
Possibly.
But yeah, you raise a good point though in terms of like the actual planet they've decided is literally so useless to them. Like, it's not even any good as like an alpha
Yeah.
site. They're like, let's
Yeah.
just die. This planet is so useless. We can
It's
throw
so
an
shit.
overloading Naquadah generator right through the gate, and it's
Yeah.
not a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big
That's where Teal'c takes his mad dumps. Huge log that he's been holding on for ages.
They send it through to that ice planet where Anubis is, and like he's
Yeah.
just managed to free himself from the frozen body of Gavin Hood, and then he like goes to he finds a body to and starts to dial the gate, and just before he dials it, in comes a wormhole, and out comes a Naquadah generator bomb and just kills him. It's like
took 3 months for that planet's version of a woolly mammoth to walk by, and Anubis is taking control of this woolly mammoth. Just have a Naquadah generator come through and blow his ass.
That was the day I almost died. It would essentially blow up the Stargate too on the other side, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Possibly. Probable.
I don't think so, because not to give anything away, but in later seasons they talk about gate buster Naquadah bombs and stuff like that. So I don't think a single Naquadah generator is enough to actually destroy a gate.
Because what did we see? It was only
put it in the ground 100 days and stuff easily.
What was it when when General Hammond, his grandkids were kidnapped or whatever it was? That was the only bomb that they tested that actually blew up a gate, from what I recall.
You remember there was Naquadah in naturally occurring on the planet. There was Naquadah in the soil on that planet. Yeah.
And it destroyed the gate.
And it destroyed the gate as well.
So have we actually seen a gate explode? That's what I'm trying to think of.
I don't think so.
I mean, they always say that there's Naquadah in the Stargate, and we've always kind of said it in front of Rhys, saying, "Oh, you could blow up the gate, and then you."
Yeah.
So.
Well, and they talk about, Carter's talked about a couple of times about how it's remember, what did Jonas say? The Naquadah in the gate will amplify the blast.
Yeah, that was probably when he's talking about sending it up through the.
Yeah.
And they put the Stargate on the plane and took it into.
Oh, there you go. There's a Stargate we've seen explode. Was ours when not close up, but from a distance.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So that was when the 302 and Jack.
Because there's too much energy build up.
Yeah, but we've never seen an external explosion of something destroy a gate.
Take out a gate. Not yet.
100 days got hit directly with a bloody meteor and just melted into the ground and stuff.
Liquid hot magma.
Yeah. Oh, now you've said that too. I think there might be an Atlantis episode with liquid hot magma.
I think people are listening to this and just screaming at us with examples.
Probably. It'll be fine. I'm just going to stay off social media for the next week.
Yeah, sounds good. You'll get some DMs now.
Yeah.
The thing that I like about this episode is, according to the DVD commentary, the computer graphics in this episode were done by a Sydney-based computer graphics team who actually worked on the cancelled Stargate SG-1 The Alliance game.
Yeah, right. Perception was the name of the company.
Great people. If they still exist, if they want to sponsor.
No, they went bust after a big legal battle.
After the Alliance failed.
Yeah, so they got into a big legal battle with the developer. Perception were the developer, and then they actually, I think they were just a group of nerds like us who were massive Gate fans, and managed to get a license from MGM to make a Stargate shooter game.
Yeah.
But they were a very small company, so they were developing it, and then they had a deal with a publisher, and they got into this big legal battle because the publishers were like, "Oh, the game's not the right quality. We want to get a different developer." But then they were like, "Well, we own the license from MGM," so there's this big fight, and it was a 2-year legal battle that just drained all their resources, and at the end, nobody got a Stargate game out of it, which kind of sucks. But
it's ruined it for everyone. Classic.
Because it's on the DVDs. Some of the DVDs have trailers at the start, where there's the trailer for the SG-1 and trailer for Atlantis when you put the DVD in. So I think it might be later in this season. It's there's a trailer for, and you actually
I think
see,
it could be the
last
final disc or something. Last disc 5.
Yeah, and then apparently if you go onto YouTube, there's because some of it was released digitally, part unfinished. But parts of it were released digitally a few years later, so you can actually see full gameplays and stuff on YouTube, which I'm interested to go and check out. Because all the actors contributed their voices. So it's like Michael Shanks is voicing Daniel Jackson in the game, and
it looks
all
so
that
good.
kind of stuff.
And the bad guy looked pretty sweet too. It was like a Halo boss or something. Looked pretty sick. But the reason I brought that up is that there's on the wiki page you see there's like a goof list, and in one of the early iterations of like where the game that Teal'c's in this episode, Teal'c's computer avatar is seen scanning like the card reader, and then the label on the door reads Armory.
Yeah.
So it says on the wiki page, while this spelling is correct for the residents of Sydney, Australia, where the computer images were produced and British English is spoken, or as we like to call it, English.
English.
The correct spelling for the United States is Armory, so there's no U. But I just found that really funny that it's correct for the people in Sydney, but not nowhere else.
Yeah, it's like if they put the word color on there somewhere and like put the U in. It's like, that's fine for us, but not for America.
Yeah, it's Amore, not Armory.
Yeah, so that is the one.
British English.
That is the one downside to this episode, is it does remind me that we never got a Stargate game.
That hurts. There's something online that a bunch of people have told me to check out, but I don't have a gaming PC, so there's a Stargate kind of free share game that's happening. I'm aware of its existence, but I don't know what it's called or how to do it.
Yeah, nice.
Same with this Discord thing. We've got a Discord page, guys, and
we should mention that.
I don't know. Hang on, I don't know I don't know how to spruik it because you need a link.
Well, full disclosure, we didn't set it up. So if you've seen last week, we did put a post up about that we now have a Discord, and we didn't include a link for the invite because it's invite only. We didn't realize that. A couple of our patrons set it up for us because they're more into the Discord. So we'll find the right link that we need to share, and we'll post that on our socials so anyone
I think that's what we'll do.
Discord can get on board, because it looks kind of interesting and fun, but we just don't know enough about it. So Toasty and Brandon, who I think Brandon might be Captain Yosho, could be different. I don't know. Maybe not. I might be
on
getting
Patreon.
Yeah.
He just said, because I said before we started, we're about to kick off in 20 minutes. So I'll chat to the guys about it. By the way, how do we plug the Discord page on the podcast? Is there a special URL or code? And he just said, do you guys still have a Get Into Geek website? Never have had one.
Never have had one.
I have an idea. Give me a few minutes. That was 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, we can share the link.
You got 1 minute, Brandon.
We can share the link that Toasty gave us, but then it says, when we share that and people click on it, it says Toasty invited you to the Discord. So if we're happy with that, we can just do that, or we can share our own link code.
Oh, okay.
The big question is, do we have a TikTok account?
Well, yeah, that's the answer is no. Maybe we should just entirely for Stargate. Just bring out the Stargate
demons. But reenact. Yeah, we can just reenact scenes and stuff. It'd be sick. We can each play.
That would be good, actually. Like we just each character, and it's just like a profile iPhone shot.
Yeah.
Of a scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand? We've been able to do that for years. We've never done it. Like
but I've been thinking about things like. Firstly, I didn't know what TikTok was, Matty. Secondly, up until my daughter told me.
Instagram stories, basically.
And I know. I'm joking.
Or the old Vine before Vine.
I've always wanted to do things more not with a bigger budget, but more production value. But this kind of makes more sense to do it this way.
So look, I've got to say it. I've got to say it. Otherwise, people probably get angry at me. We all know this is just a Star Trek holodeck episode, right?
Oh, you have to?
Well, I didn't want to, but
I thought you said that in Gamekeeper.
Yeah, no. Did I?
I believe so. Well, actually, I saw a meme. I saw a meme about that because that guy, the Gamekeeper guy, is the guy from Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah.
And there was a meme, something like a Star Trek guy making an SG-1, torturing an SG-1 person in a what are they called?
In a holodeck.
A holodeck. I was like, I get it. Mitch is still
because he got
dead
because he
between
got
us.
addicted to holodecks in Star Trek. His character got a holodeck addiction.
That's where he was
Now
only
he's
comfortable in a holodeck. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. I think someone made a joke about how all of SG-1 basically just exists in a Stargate holodeck. In a Star Trek holodeck because it's just Barclay playing the gamekeeper.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah.
Cool. All right. Well, it's time to find out if Maddie's been paying attention.
Oh, thank God.
Shit.
So you should.
No
These
number
are all
questions, please. We've established nothing
with
with a number for an answer.
Well, you know what? Get your act together, mate.
My brain doesn't work that way.
All right. 30 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
5 questions.
Let me limber up here. All right.
These are all absolute gimmies. So I'm expecting you to get every single one in rapid fire.
All right.
Special shout out to Toasty and Ashley O for submitting some of these questions on our Discord page. You can
Nice.
if you want to be part of the.
Finally have some professionals in here, eh? Just
Great to have a Discord page, mate.
Just great having some professionals.
I've said that for years. We should have a Discord page, not knowing what it does. But if you want to be part of the Discord page, you can jump on one of our socials and click on the link that we did because we don't have any idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Right at this moment. All right, your time starts after the first question. Okay. What threat level is mentioned at the start of every loop?
Foxtrot Alpha 6.
Correct. What movie franchise did O'Neill say were confusing?
Pass.
Teal'c mentions that he played what game before?
Def Jam Vendetta.
Correct. What planet did SGC get their VR pods from?
The Gamekeeper planet.
Correct. According to Teal'c, what was the final component of the game to overcome?
Discovering who the Gould was.
Correct. Defeating. And the last question, what movie franchise ran out of time? The answer was The Matrix.
Oh!
I found those movies so confusing.
That's right.
All right.
My brain was going to Groundhog Day.
So special mention to question 3. Teal'c mentions that he played Def Jam Vendetta because he was in it, guys.
Yeah, Christopher Jones
He was
did
the voice
of
the main boss, D-Mob.
Oh, really?
Never played it, but heard it's
Never
great.
heard of it.
Great people over at Def Jam Vendetta.
Where was his X-Men Evolution shout out for when he voiced Magneto? There's what I want.
Yeah, where's the Batman? Actually, no, it was after SG-1, wasn't it? When he was in Batman 3, whatever that was called.
Yeah.
He was?
Yeah, he worked for Bane.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have to go back and watch that.
He fights Bruce Wayne or something.
Movie?
The movie, the third one. The Nolan
Bane's in the fourth one.
No, third.
Oh, the Nolan one.
Bane's in the fourth one. Not that Bane, the good Bane.
No one worked for Bane in the fourth one.
I was going to say, I'll take the shitty Bane over the Nolan Bane any day of the week.
Cool.
Yeah, nice one.
Anyway, you didn't get them all, mate. What are we going to say? What are you going to do?
Talking about Groundhog Day, actually found myself thinking this episode that when he just gave up, was just sitting up against the wall like, I can't do this, and was just happy to let it roll on.
Mm-hmm.
And then thinking about window of opportunity and him just reliving that day and day and day and day and day. Oh, I mean, God knows how many times with O'Neill. And then, not to spoil
3 months worth, I think.
3 months, was it? That's right, yeah. Well, not to spoil it for anyone watching it for the first time, but let's just say near the end of SG-1's final season, when Teal'c also does, takes one for the team and does some really hard yards, like those three things in my mind of him just like, really putting in the hours.
Yeah, yeah. With
I wish I could talk more
really
about
knowing
that.
about
I don't want to spoil it for anyone for the first time because it's a real emotional gut punch. In a subtle sort of way from memory, but it still hit me. So, yeah, man, he's sort of heart and soul. Maybe that's why they're giving him all these episodes in season 8 because it's like, man, you kind of like in a way you're carrying this thing, and yet you don't get the exposure that you probably deserve. So
yeah. And I hope if they bring SG-1 back, Teal'c he doesn't have to be part of the main cast, but at least every few episodes, and not just be like a part of the Jafar Nation or whatever they're called. I don't know, have a better part in it. for whatever reason. They need a new bad guy. Maybe the Wraith.
Imagine him being like.
Wouldn't it be cool if the Wraith
Braytech.
came? Oh god, that would just be the great setup. The Wraith come to Earth or come to Milky Way.
Imagine him taking on like a. Imagine him taking on like a Braytech sort of role, but he's leading like it. But then you get the Jafar thing, but he's actually leading like a Jafar team or Jafar teams from Teal'c or wherever, where they're going and doing their own missions. Like, you know, they've established so much control and ownership of their own existence, basically, that they're out there like going and fighting the remains of the Gould, or, you know, they're an off-world ally to Earth, while the SGC is still sending out SG units. You know, Teal'c sort of like he's leading a military type charge for aliens or something. I don't know, like. I just feel like he's a character that'll never give up the fight, even if he's not going out there. He'll be O'Neill. He'll be taking on some kind of authority role. Or something.
That'd be a great conflict in the same way that the SGC now has conflict with the Tok'ra because they're doing missions that sometimes get in the way of ours and vice versa.
Yeah.
Imagine Teal'c in that role. Like, his missions are getting in the way of SGC missions and stuff like that. That would be cool.
Yeah, and hopefully the Jafar don't just wear robes all the time. It got really old.
Still get drunk really, really well though. Together.
God, yeah. Hashtag bring back Stargate. Just bring it back, guys. What's wrong with you?
Not hard.
Unbelievable. It's not hard.
I mean, look, it's going to get more exposure now. I mean, Stan have been doing a wonderful job, but as of this week? When is it, Matty, that SBS On Demand in Australia, they're going to start screening it? Is that
technically last night? When this episode comes out, it'll have been last night, the first half, Saturday night. The half of Children of the Gods will play on SBS at about 7:30. So it'll happen every Saturday night. They're going to play an episode of Stargate SG-1.
How random! Like it just
is random.
So here's the weird thing: there's 10 seasons of SG-1. They're playing one episode a week. They also have the Orville, which they're playing 5 nights a week during the week, and that's only got like 20 episodes. I'm like, why wouldn't you flip that around? Play one episode of the Orville a week. And play like SG-1 every night, every weeknight at 7:30.
Yeah.
Play an episode of bloody.
Play it every night. It'd still take you ages.
Yeah. Well, look how long it's taken us doing one episode a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in my 20s when we started this.
I wasn't. How long do you reckon it'll be? You know how like all the TV show stuff, they're all getting together. Like, all the people from The Nanny got together the other week and did like a Zoom meeting reading of the first episode of The Nanny, who, by the way, the little kid from that now, bald old guy, who knew? How long do you reckon it'll be before, like, you know, SG-1 get together on a Zoom meeting if Richard Anderson can ever figure out technology?
I think isn't Hathor doing that? She's doing her series. She's doing a Zoom series with everyone. She did one with Amanda Tapping a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, mate, that's Hathor. Like,
I mean, as much as I like that character,
like
she's really hanging on to those kind of 2.5 episodes she was in.
Yeah. Apparently, the Amanda Tapping chat was really, really great, but it goes for like an hour, and it's like, as much as I love SG-1, I don't know if I can sit through Hathor for an hour.
You can listen to this.
Yeah, but you know, if like the 4 core SG-1 characters got together on a Zoom meeting and like read
that'd be pretty great.
Imagine if they read like the script for freaking Window of Opportunity or something like that. I would jizz all over my computer screen listening to that. Like,
yeah, something with some good dialogue.
Yeah.
Even One False Step would be great.
Right?
Let's be honest. Because they're all in it a fair bit, apart from Teal'c.
Imagine Window of Opportunity, though, because imagine how pissed off Michael Shanks will get just every 5 minutes having to go, what do you think? You just get more and more annoyed every time.
He would.
Be like, this is my one line in this episode.
Spinning around in a circle.
So, yeah, that's what I'm waiting for. Or even, geez, the Atlantis team getting together to do an episode would be fun.
Yeah.
That would be great. That would be amazing. Because I know that Momoa and
Joe Flanagan,
they're tight.
Mates.
Yeah, they're tight.
Yeah.
So that'd be pretty amazing.
They get together and read the script for the unproduced film.
I just came.
Where are you, Joe Malozzi?
Rolling to actually make the thing.
Come on, Joe. Joe and Joe. Yeah. I don't know. I think maybe Joe Flanagan's probably a bit jaded from never getting the rights to it. Should have just been
Yeah,
made.
probably. But I mean, they could.
He would
they
have
could pull
bankrolled that, I
Ryan
reckon.
Reynolds Deadpool. But people weren't going to let Ryan Reynolds make the Deadpool movie until he accidentally, or somebody accidentally released it online, and then he got made. Imagine if like Joe Flanagan and Momoa and the others got together and like read the first act of Extinction, and put it online, and the fans went nuts. MGM might actually go, oh, maybe we should make this.
Yeah, well, they're not very
they've got
bright.
time.
Let's be honest.
They've got time in ISO to be doing all the prep, like polishing the script and getting everything done, like doing pre-production.
Yeah.
Oh, I just came. That's such a good idea.
And it's coming from the person who's literally seen 4 hours of Stargate Atlantis material.
Yeah, you'd be allowed to watch it, Mitch. You'd have to,
exactly,
you'd have to wait.
It's the greatest thing that I'll ever watch.
All right, so if you want to jump onto our Discord, it will be crit.us/Get Into Gate, apparently.
And hopefully that makes sense. That's live. That's live intel just coming straight in there.
Yeah. It's all happening. It's a thing now.
Yeah. Make it a thing. Let's make it a thing.
We're on there. All the other Stargate fans are on there. We'll Get Into Gate listeners and Stargate fans. So jump on if you want. If you don't, that doesn't
Gibson
matter.
Brothers podcast fans on there as well. That's got its own little sub.
Oh, yeah.
Channel.
Great point. I didn't create that.
That's where
the podcast you can only listen to on Patreon.
Yeah.
Has its own Discord.
Yeah.
Of course it does.
A limited number of patrons.
You know, there's a fuckload of podcasts you can only listen to on Patreon.
Oh, yeah.
There's like one dude, they make like 80 grand a month or something stupid.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Doing podcasts.
Honestly, I mean, our listeners just need to, pick it up a bit. I mean,
yeah, man.
Why aren't we making 80 grand?
If you want some high quality audio podcasts from a garage like this, and pay some cash.
Yeah. I mean, I'll recreate dance scenes from Magic Mike for 80 grand a month.
Just send us your cash. Your cold hard US dollar.
I'll get the angle grinder out, chuck on some Genuine, and
if it'll stop you from sending them to me unwarranted, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be nice, actually. I haven't seen the movie, but I do know this line of Matthew McConaughey's. The law says you can't touch, but I think I see a lot of lawbreakers around here. I don't know why. I know that, and it makes me a little horny.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a great.
Oh, wait until he's like squatting in a gym mirror with Alex Pettifer teaching him how to grind. It makes you question things that you never thought you would question.
Yeah, no, it's a questionable last name.
Yeah, it is a question.
What'd you say? It makes you question his last name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pettifer. It's like, what?
That's it, isn't it?
Can you spell that?
It's like trying to spell Pfeiffer. It's just there's P's and F's everywhere, and you just go, okay, all right. You just make word salad, and you're fine.
Oh, mate, you talk about questioning things. Though. I mean, it's like watching Tom Holland do that bloody Rihanna thing on. Lip sync battle. Oh man, him like does, and I'm like, I shouldn't be feeling this way, but.
Have you seen him do that latest thing where he did the upside down, put his shirt on challenge?
I?
Yeah.
The annoying thing,
Jake Gyllenhaal did it in 3 seconds.
Yeah, in a shirt though, that doesn't count.
What?
I watched that Tom Holland video, and now on my like recommended watch list on YouTube is like people who have made like montage videos of Tom Holland doing cute things, and I'm like, my life.
Yeah, tap out.
Tom Holland pretending to be a cat.
Video. Yeah, it's like Tom Holland being adorable for 7 minutes. I'm like, I'm not going to watch that.
And we're in, and I'm born and shoot.
I got to interview him ahead of Homecoming, and he was in like Hong Kong eating his breakfast in his hotel room. It was a really dodgy line. We had a lot of delay, and I like, talking like he called, like I was in another room waiting for like a publicist to call, and then I answered him like, "Hello, this is Mitch." He's like, "Hey, Mitch." I'm like, "Hey, how you going, mate?" I'm like, "Good, mate. Who am I speaking to?" He goes, "Oh, mate, this is Tom Holland." I'm like, "Oh," like,
hang on, what?
And I'm like, "Sorry, mate, I'm in another room. Hang on 1 second." I'm like running. I'm like, "Spider-Man just called me. Spider-Man just called me." I'm like, "Oh." And I thought we had like a really fun rapport at the start because he's like, "Oh, I'm just having my breakfast, mate. How you doing?" I said, "Oh, good, mate." Blah blah blah. and I'm talking about it, like, watching him do other stuff before Spider-Man. I said, oh, mate, I saw you on that lip sync battle, and I tell you what, you made me question my own, the way that I feel, and blah, blah. And I laid it out there as like a joke, and he didn't react to it once. And I don't know whether it was the delay.
He was chewing his Nutrigrain, mate.
But basically, yeah, he's midway through some bloody Eggs Benedict. And I said, you dressed up in leather singing Rihanna Dripping Wet made me question my sexuality. And I had to just roll on like it wasn't a statement and it wasn't a question.
He's like, wow, I'm just sliding this bowl of yogurt off because I'm not eating that for breakfast anymore.
Very weird, very weird. I mean, it hasn't stopped me watching the video. Don't be stupid. But
3 times a day.
One of the best.
Won't be saying that to him again. All right, that's episode 162 of Get Into Gate Avatar. We will be back next week to talk a little bit of Stargate Atlantis.
Just a little bit.
If there was an episode I was just going to bail on, it'd be this one.
Really?
Oh, my God.
I feel like Brendan said we set the standard 2 weeks ago with Icon, like, this is the one you skip.
Oh, mate, you are going to...
Yeah, I'm not sure about that anymore.
This is remember First Commandment back in season 1 of SG-1?
Oh, don't.
This is better than that.
Oh, is it though?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I mean, it's got the K in it. That's a positive, but
We'll check that out next week here on Get Into Gate. If you're new to the show, you can check out all of our old podcasts on your favourite podcasting channel. Just search Get Into Gate, a Stargate podcast. Hit us up on the socials, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or even Discord. And you can drop us a long-form email. We've got a mailbag special coming up soon enough. getintogate@gmail.com.
And if you'd like an account where you can create your own avatar.
Oh, you did a bit of work.
Join us on Patreon.
Can you do that?
No, I made that up. You can make your own you can make your own avatar somewhere else and then use it as your avatar on your Patreon
as your profile picture. Yeah,
but Patreon won't actually make that for you.
I mean, if Patreon are listening, that's probably a feature they should invest in.
Well, I mean, technically
their phone
you can
app
choose.
Sucks.
Technically,
so
you can choose to be like, you can be the fox or you can be the bear cartoon. So technically, you can create your own avatar. But yeah, so I just want to give a shout out to our latest patron. Oh, wow, there's a lot of consonants here. Jacob Booerns.
It's Kearns, you idiot.
Booerns. It's Jacob Bowers. Boers. Bowers. So that's Booerns. He's Booerns to me.
Kearns.
And it's Jacob with a K, so there's that happening as well.
Jacob with a K. Well, that means he's probably European, mate. Calm down.
Well, I didn't think he was Mongolian with a name like Jacob, but you know.
Oh, you never know.
Well, you said like a K, like it was really condescending that you have something against K's. Letter K.
K and Jacob is a bit, it's like Brian with a Y. It just looks weird.
Or Maddie with a dick in his mouth. Actually, that doesn't look weird.
That's
amazing.
That's pretty standard.
Because it's your dick.
That's what I'm saying. Amazing.
You are all getting a photo of just the tip of my penis. Just be wary next time you guys. I'm going to give you both inches just for that.
Get Into Geek.
Well, until next week. I mean, if you dare want to follow Maddie on social media after that little tease, where are you at?
At High Pitch Maddie, slip into my DMs. You'll never
Make
know
sure
what
you don't have
get.
a K in your name, or he will cut sick on you.
I'll just make fun of your parents. I mean, we're none of us immune. I've got this bogan cousin who named I guess he's nothing to me, but it's her kid. It's my cousin's kid, Jackson. But it's spelled Jaxson. And I'm like, I don't talk to her anymore.
She even put the S in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, she didn't need to put the S in there.
No, she decided to get Saxon and Jackson and just mash them together. And I don't talk to her anymore because of that.
My dad, when my oldest boy James was born, and Dad was up at work, and he called me to ask like what his full name was, because I'm like, he's Christopher's his middle name in case he'd forgotten the middle name, and he goes, oh yeah, and James. They're like, all the spelling, all the Yeah,
normal.
Yes,
Yeah.
Now, I say that when my grandfather's name is James. My dad's middle name is James. My middle name.
Your middle name is James.
And my son's name is
Brendan's middle name is James.
Yeah, and his dad's name James. Like, there's a lot of Jameses going on. He knows what James is and how it's spelled. And I'm like, did you think I put Jaymes? Is that what you thought?
Your favorite character is James Bond.
Exactly right.
One of them.
If there's one name I'm not going to stuff up, it's probably going to be that.
They got you a personalized plate with 007 in it, didn't they?
Well, I mean, it was the cheap version. It was the
MLO
07.
07, yeah.
Yeah, really didn't work. Everyone's like, "Oh, Milo." I'm like, "No,
Baloo?
it was 007. Never mind. Don't even.
Milo.
I mean, it was on a day with Carlos.
Respect 2007, heaps of Milo.
I was on a day with
Gold
Carlos.
Milo,
It wasn't a beacon of sex and power. So, the little jelly bean from Korea.
I had a Daihatsu Sirion. That was a
great people.
Red jelly bean.
I had a Hyundai Excel.
Oh, what a pearl.
My first car was a VW Beetle, actually.
Oh, win.
Yeah, with cowskin seat covers. That's how I rolled.
God damn.
Yeah, I put them on myself too. Like, that didn't come with them. I chose to do that.
Eat them and skin them.
Yeah.
Charming.
Yeah.
Ladies.
And then a cow beanie baby on the back window. That was what my teen years were like. So be glad you didn't know me then, really. I know you question it now. It's like, why would you think like that? But...
I didn't say that.